Okay, here's the lineup. The knives that I finished this week. First up is Jack Lawford, Chris Williams. Then we've got a knife I built for, what colour liners are on that one? Red. Right, that'll be Edwards. That's for Edward. And then we've got Graham's and the green liners. And then we've got a little mini, special little mini this is, that I built for RJ. Anyway, I'm just trying out, this has got a tapered tang, the first mini with a tapered tang. All these knives have got tapered tangs. I'm just trying out a new little camera. It's a little SJ4000. There's red liners on that one. That's red liners. It's got a beautiful walnut burl. Absolutely gorgeous wood. Anyway, without any further ado, we'll go from this camera to the stills that I've taken, and I'll put them up so you can see. So that's it, guys. Hope you like them. On to the stills. Graham, just got to say, I did film some of the footage of me building the knives, but some of it got corrupted, unfortunately, so I can't produce a whole documentary showing the knives being built, but I will put something up showing the knives, the process that I went through on the end of this video. Sorry about that. This is how the steel is delivered to me. It comes in 500mm lengths, and what I first do is I use engineering blue, and then I scribe on. I don't know if you can see that there. I scribe on the profile of the knife. Next, the crude test is performed. To see if this file skates, and in this case the file's skating straight off, so that's a well hardened blade. Tests are also made on straightness to make sure the blade hasn't warped during the quench. Right, it's just after the tempering cycle, and that's the edge where the cutting edge would be. And if you remember, after I hardened it, I ran the file across and took away all the crud. Well, you can see from the colour there, you've got that nice golden colour there. That's the colour you want. Now for the moment of truth, the Rockwell hardness tester. So I'm going to wind the handle there and impart a load. So here we go. We've got to wind it so that the dial rotates 3 times. 1, 2, and then stop at 12 o'clock. There we are, stop at 12 o'clock. Just adjust that so that we're bang on the minute. There we are. The C scale's on the outer ring. So now I then pull the loading lever, and then the main load is imparted through the diamond indenter into the steel of the knife. So I wait to see, make sure it's settled. It seems to have settled there. So now I then push the unloading lever back, and that will give me the Rockwell reading. And we're aiming for sort of between 58 and 60. Here we go. Wish me luck. There, that is reading just over 59 HRC. Happy with that. These are the scales for the 2 knives, and stabilised, beautiful wood. And they're going to drill the holes and shape the scales and fit them to the knife. Hole. Fit a pin into that hole, like that. Drill the next hole. Fit a pin into that hole, like that, and then drill your final hole. Fit a pin into that hole, that holds it all rigid, then draw the outline, and then cut that outline out on a bandsaw, or carefully by hand using a coping saw. Make sure you don't go over the line, cut on the outside of the line, and then you tidy that bit up later. Now, to match the fronts, you've got to do the front portion before you fit the knife, the scales to the knife. Now I've got to sand both these front faces here. They've got to be sanded level. So you end up with something that looks perfectly flat like that. as you can see, I've trued up the front face, the front edges now, and it's time to put the chamfers on. I put a 40-degree bevel on each side now. And they're a bit rough, and like all things in knife making, the end product relies heavily on a bit of hand finishing, so I've got to now sand the scratch marks out and get it all just right, doing it by hand. And I just use 400 grit cloth backed abrasive to do that on a flat surface. Once you're happy you've removed all the scratches, then it's a good time to give those front chamfers a polish, because you know it's harder to do it when they're on the knife. So I just use for that my bench grinder with a polishing mop on it. A little bit of wood compound. And then, it's tricky with one hand, but to randomly drill holes through the liners. Actually, I always drill through the liners into the wood a little bit. Bit of belt and braces approach to it really. It allows the epoxy to, gives more surface area for the epoxy, and it allows it to make a direct contact to the wood as well through the liners. Perfectly flat, you want no light shining between. There's two sets of scales there, you see, so get them perfectly flat, like that, so there's no light. There, you see that? Glued up now. See what I done, I use these clamps, but you don't want to put the clamps on very tight, just enough to pinch the scales in. If it's all flat you don't need much pressure, otherwise you'll squeeze all the glue out. And then I always stand them up on their end like that. That way any epoxy's going to drip down and not drip onto the blade where it's hard to clean it up.